My half-sister and I both fell into the water. My fiancé rushed headlong toward my half-sister, who could swim. They watched helplessly as I, a complete non-swimmer, sank beneath the surface. Later, I was pulled out of the water and lay unconscious with a high fever for 3 days and nights. The very first thing I demanded upon waking was to call off the engagement. My always weak and pitiful half-sister finally revealed her true colors. "Sister, if only you'd done this sooner, you wouldn't have suffered so much. You're just like your mother, utterly useless." I laughed. "If you're so eager to snatch men and serve them, then I'll grant you your wish. A home courtyard suits you perfectly. Soon, you and your mother will have more men than you can handle." When I was summoned to the front hall, it was filled with people. My younger half-sister, Lin Ling, approached me with affected grace. She began to boast deliberately, "Sister, you've arrived just in time. Look at this hairpin on my head, isn't it beautiful? Father had it specially made for me to calm my nerves." The hairpin she mentioned looked strangely familiar. If my memory serves me correctly, it was a design I sketched myself a few days ago when I had nothing better to do. I thought it was pretty, so I had my maid take it to the gold and silver pavilion, intending to commission their master craftsman to create it at great expense. It was meant to be a birthday surprise for my mother. Little did I expect it would now appear on Lin Ling's head. I didn't miss the smug look on her face. She really had grown accustomed to snatching things, daring to covet anything and everything. It seemed the time had come to remind her of her place. Suppressing my irritation, I remarked indifferently, "Quite nice. It looks good." Hearing this, Consort Yu, seated beside my father, instantly perked up. She couldn't resist boasting, "Of course. Our Linger is naturally beautiful, anything looks good on her." I smiled. "I think you've misunderstood, consort. I meant the hairpin itself is beautiful. When my sister wears it, she looks like a child trying on an adult's clothes. It's mismatched and completely unworthy of such a fine ruby. It's fortunate she only wears it at home. If outsiders saw her like this, it would bring shame upon the Lin family. Father, I fear the money you spent earlier was wasted. This is what we'll do. Once mother returns from Jiangnan, I'll have her invite Grandma Sun from the palace to properly teach your younger sister etiquette. Though she's only a concubine's daughter, she is still a young lady of our duke's household. She must learn the proper manners." Instantly, Lin Ling's expression darkened. Just as she was about to erupt, she abruptly broke character, rushing to my side and clutching my leg, her tears streaming down like rain-drenched pear blossoms, utterly pitiful. "Sister, I know you dislike me. If you like this hairpin, I'll gladly give it to you. I lived outside with my mother since childhood, so naturally I can't compare to you. To me, this hairpin is truly a wonderful thing. I know I'm unworthy of it, but..." Before she could finish, my fiancé, Su Zihao, suddenly burst in from outside. He yanked Lin Ling up from the floor, his face filled with concern as he said, "Little Ling, get up. It's just a worthless hairpin. If you want it, I can give you the finest things in the entire city. You don't need to put yourself through this." Turning to me, his face twisted with anger, he snapped, "Lin Shu, you truly disappoint me. I never imagined you'd behave like this in public." Little Ling grew up with her mother in the city streets, living hand to mouth. You, a pampered noblewoman raised in seclusion, could never understand that. After all, she is your own sister. It's just a hairpin. Do you lack hairpins? Couldn't you just let her have it? The one who had been weeping suddenly lifted her head, tears glistening in her eyes as she looked at him. "Brother Zihao, please don't speak of sister like that. She actually takes good care of us. Just the other day, she had the kitchen send over an extra plate of lotus root pastries for mother and me to try. Just as she said, those pastries were truly something special, better than anything we'd ever tasted before. And this outfit I'm wearing? She had it sent over too. It's not the latest style, but compared to those coarse cloth garments before, I'm perfectly satisfied." Her words did nothing to calm Su Zihao's anger, instead, they only fueled it further. How could she be that kind-hearted? She must have just had too much to eat and deliberately sent it over to humiliate you. And this outfit you're wearing? That's a style that was popular in the capital 3 years ago. How generous of her. I laughed. Before me stood two people, my fiancé and my younger half-sister, harmonizing their accusations, utterly oblivious to my feelings. To an outsider, they might have seemed like the real couple. In that instant, I lost all desire to continue the charade. I touched the jade in my purse, watching them with a faint, mocking smile. Susie Heo, in what capacity are you questioning me now? Linger calls me Brother Ziheo, and you call me Sister Linger. If I recall correctly, this is only your second meeting. When did you two become so familiar? Or have you been meeting behind my back? Father surely doesn't know about this, does he? And stop calling me mother like that. Your mother is only my mother. Anyone watching would think our Lin family children lack manners. How dare a concubine demand to be called mother? I'll overlook it since you're from the countryside and don't know the rules, but if it happens again, you'll be punished. My father glanced away, his expression slightly uneasy. He cleared his throat deliberately, but before he could explain, concubine, you beat him to it. Miss, you're making too much of this. Linger and I have relied on each other for years. Calling me mother is simply a habit. It's no big deal if she hasn't changed it yet, is it? We're all family here, no need to sweat such minor details. And miss, you're mistaken about one thing. Though we come from humble origins, our Linger is a pure and virtuous girl. She would never engage in such improper conduct. That said, young Master Su has done our family a favor. A few days ago, Linger fell into the water, and it was young Master Su who rescued her. The situation was urgent, and Linger was soaked through. They inevitably came into physical contact. Young miss, once Linger enters the household, we'll rely on you, her elder sister, to look after her properly. Only when the inner quarters are stable will young Master Su's career path become smoother. I smiled. So that was their plan. They were underestimating me. I took the jade pendant from my purse and pretended not to hear, continuing to play with it. Susie Heo, standing nearby, finally lost his composure. Lin Shu, matters have come to this. Even if you're unwilling, I will still bring Linger into the household. This won't affect you in any way, the position of principal wife will still be yours. It's only Linger who will be inconvenienced, having to be a secondary wife. At the word secondary wife, concubine, you burst into tears. Oh, how wonderful. Our Linger is truly blessed to have found a husband like young Master Su. Mother. Lin Ling flushed with coyness as she threw herself into concubine Yu's embrace. Was this matter settled then? Clap, clap, clap. I couldn't help but applaud. I really underestimated this mother-daughter duo. As expected of theater troupe veterans, their acting skills were unmatched. But were they celebrating too soon? What? It's settled like that? But I disagree. I rose to my feet and slowly approached Susie Heo, smiling as I addressed him. Since you two are so clearly meant for each other, it would be rather petty of me to refuse. Very well, very well. I'll play the Good Samaritan and grant this ill-fated pair their wish. A secondary wife would be too much of a sacrifice. Only the status of primary wife can truly match the depth of your bond. With a sharp clack, I flung the jade pendant from my hand. It hit the floor and shattered into two pieces. Susie Heo sucked in a sharp breath, his expression complex as he stared at me. I laughed coldly. Susie Heo, mark my words, it is I, Lin Shu, who is breaking off this engagement. From this day forward, you and I have no connection whatsoever. Our marriage is null and void. Just like this jade, severed cleanly with a single stroke. My words succeeded in enraging him. You. Lin Shu, you've lost your mind. Do you realize that's our Su family's heirloom jade pendant? Don't you dare regret this. Lin Shu, I finally see now, all your previous gentleness and virtue were just an act. Thankfully I discovered the truth early. You mad woman. I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on him. I bellowed toward the doorway. Someone. Throw him out. From now on, neither Susie Heo nor his dogs are to set foot in the Lin residence. Amidst their stunned silence, Susie Heo was suddenly seized by two black-clad figures and hauled out. I couldn't recall the last time I'd acted so boldly. This time, I'd finally reclaimed my true self. And this was only the beginning. I am Lin Shu, the legitimate daughter of the Duke's household, the paragon of noble ladies in the capital. Several days ago, a momentous event occurred in our Lin family. On the very day my mother journeyed south to visit her ailing maternal grandmother, my father brought home a mother and daughter. With utter disregard for my feelings, he announced to all that the woman would henceforth be the mansion's concubine. And I, the legitimate daughter, must relinquish control of the household. I did not miss the smug satisfaction in the eyes of that mother and daughter. But I said nothing, handing over the household authority without hesitation. A mere village woman, yet she harbors such grand ambitions. If she desires to rule the household, I shall grant her wish. Within half a month, she will learn that this household is not so easily managed. Yet I still underestimated them. Barely 3 days passed before Lin Ling stormed into my courtyard with a retinue. Cleverly, she dismissed the maidservants attending nearby. With no outsiders present, she saw no need to feign politeness. She tossed aside the pastries I'd meticulously prepared and snapped, "So this is how you play us, Lin Shu. Where's the money? A mansion this size, and the storeroom's practically empty? Servants' wages are due soon. Did you deliberately set my mother up for embarrassment?" I calmly walked over and gathered the scattered pastries from the ground. Such a pity, such fine treats, only fit for feeding the fish. I strolled to the lakeside and leisurely fed the fish, found out so quickly? Seems concubine you has some tricks up her sleeve after all. I didn't miss the flicker of unease in her eyes. Soon, she regained her composure and sneered, "What? Think we're from the sticks and easy to fool? You're in for a disappointment. My mother and I aren't so easily duped. Hand over the money now, or I'll tell father you're cooking the books and pocketing the funds." I watched her with amusement. Do you even believe your own words? Didn't father tell you our accountant is renowned throughout the capital? Not just anyone can hire him. Back then, father personally begged him for ages before he reluctantly agreed to come. Tell me, if that gentleman found out, wouldn't he storm off in anger? And wouldn't father take it out on you? Her composure quickly unraveled. She began speaking in a flustered, exasperated tone, "I detest you high and mighty noble ladies. What's so great about your better birth? If it weren't for your mother, why would my mother and I have suffered so much?" After saying all that, I saw her flash me a strange, twisted smile. Her previously arrogant demeanor shifted abruptly. She grabbed my sleeve forcefully and began sobbing, "Sister, I know you still can't accept me. Would you only accept us if I were dead? Then so be it." With those words, she turned and leaped into the lake. The maid who had been following her appeared before me out of nowhere. She shoved me hard, then screamed, "Help! Help! The young mistress has fallen into the water." It happened so suddenly. Before I could react, I lost my balance, stumbled forward, and fell into the water, completely out of control. A terrible thought flashed through my mind. I knew I'd fallen into their trap. Lin Ling and I both plunged into the water. Later, we were both rescued. The only difference was that I was saved by Tao Hua, the maid who'd been familiar with water since childhood, while she was rescued by my fiancé. I heard she was up and about the very next day, while I ran a high fever and lay unconscious for 3 full days and nights. The day I awoke, my personal maid Tao Hua stood before me, eyes red and face flushed with fury. "Miss, you're finally awake. Do you have any idea what they're saying outside? Though you're the one gravely ill, they claim your previous magnanimity was all an act, that you couldn't even tolerate a mere secondary daughter, and this is your comeuppance." After a moment's hesitation, she continued, "Miss, I suspect second Miss did this on purpose. When I arrived, I saw both of you thrashing in the lake. But strangely, I watched you sink deeper and deeper, forced to swallow several mouthfuls of water. Second Miss, however, remained perfectly still, completely unharmed. Any clear-eyed person could tell she knows how to swim. She deliberately staged this, nearly costing you your life. I don't believe that was a coincidence." Seeing I didn't blame her, she grew bolder, and that maid by her side deliberately said things meant to cause misunderstanding. "Otherwise, why hasn't the Marquis come to see you even now?" I let out a cold laugh. So that explained everything. I beckoned Tao Hua closer and whispered instructions in her ear. Her previously mournful expression instantly transformed into excitement as she jumped up. Wonderful! I knew you wouldn't let this go so easily. Rest assured, I'll handle it perfectly. Just focus on your recovery, miss. I'll make all the arrangements right away. I rubbed my slightly throbbing forehead. If she wanted to play, I'd gladly join her game. From that day onward, I shut myself away from visitors. Only the physician who came for my regular checkups knew my true condition. Yet my days were far from dull. I knew everything happening outside down to the last detail. I was waiting for an opportunity. Days later, the moment arrived. I deliberately leaked information, and that mother-daughter pair finally lost their patience, leading to the scene just now. Neither of them expected me to be so utterly resolute this time. My father sat frozen for a long while before snapping out of it. He slammed his fist on the table in fury. This is madness. Do you even regard me as your father? What were those black-clad men? How come I knew nothing of their existence? I ignored him. I knew he had already guessed. Looking at his face, now ashen, I suddenly found it rather amusing. He must regret marrying my mother, right? Because what he wanted has now fallen into my hands. And everything he did before seems so laughable now. One thing was strange, all these years, my mother never bore me a brother or sister. This time, though, my father took advantage of her absence and brought his mistress, whom he'd kept outside the household, right back home. They thought I didn't know, but I'd known for a long time. That mistress was already several months pregnant. Just thinking about it made me feel sick. We were supposed to be a family, yet my father was guarding against me. Perhaps in his heart, my mother and I have always been outsiders. Just as my thoughts drifted, my father snapped at me in irritation. How dare you? Now that you've grown wings, you don't even respect me anymore. What are you all standing around for? Hurry up and help the young miss down to get properly dressed. Yun Young, go to the storeroom and find some decent things. Forget it, Lin Shu. Go pick them out yourself. You're coming with me to the Su household shortly. I hope old Su and his family will overlook this for the sake of past ties. No matter what, this marriage cannot be called off. Auntie Yu, standing nearby, voiced her displeasure. Your lordship, the eldest daughter has relinquished her stewardship duties. Shouldn't she be exempt from handling this? My father flung his sleeve and snorted coldly. Enough. Don't say another word. With your abilities, don't you know your limits? If you were to choose, would you even recognize quality goods? Anything you pick out would only add fuel to the fire. Now, take Linger and get out of here. You're an embarrassment. This time, my father didn't shield them as he usually did. In that moment, he seemed like a stranger to me. Seeing I didn't move, he signaled to someone nearby. Soon, only the two of us remained in the room. My father sighed, instantly adopting the guise of a loving father. Sure, do you still resent father for bringing your mother and you back? I did it for your own good. All these years, your mother and I never gave you any brothers or sisters. Do you know why? When your mother gave birth to you, she damaged her body. The doctor said it would be very difficult for her to conceive again. The future of the Lin family rests entirely on you two sisters. Sure, Lady Yu was your grandmother's personal maid. Later, she became my concubine. Before your mother and I were married, your grandmother, fearing she might suffer injustice, sent her away. Child, I owe them both. I know you harbor resentment, but when Linger was rescued by Zi Hao, many witnessed it. Her virtue was compromised, it couldn't be helped. Seeing my silence, he continued, I understand your worries. Rest assured, I'll speak with Uncle Su and the others. Linger will never be treated as your superior. Any children she bears will forever be considered illegitimate. By the way, those men earlier, were they sent by your maternal grandfather? I gave a bitter smile. In all my years, this was the first time he'd spoken so much to me. Sadly, that last sentence was the real point he wanted to make. I composed myself and feigned surprise. What do you mean, my maternal grandfather sent them? Father, are you referring to those two men? They're the guards mother left for me. Before she left the capital, she said I was her greatest concern. She also left Lady Hu to watch over me. By now, Lady Hu should be returning any moment. What? Didn't she return to Jiangnan with your mother? Why hasn't she left? Realizing his slip, father hurried to explain, well, sure, I have matters to attend to and can't stay with you. Remember what I just said. Go downstairs and get yourself properly dressed. We'll head to the Su residence together shortly. I looked at him with disappointment. Father, must we really go? What nonsense you speak. Of course we must. We should depart early. Once there, you needn't say a word, leave everything to me. I know you've suffered wrongs, but there's no other way. Remember, your Uncle Su's second daughter is now His Majesty's favored concubine. I do this for the good of our Lin family. Never mind, I'll prepare my own things. Just make yourself presentable. You may go. I looked at him deeply. This was my father. He knew exactly what accompanying him to apologize meant, yet he disregarded my feelings entirely, thinking only of his own future. He wants me to go, does he? Let's see if he regrets it. Once I made up my mind, the pain in my heart eased. After leaving the front hall, I was deep in thought about my next move, completely oblivious to my surroundings. Tao Hua, the maid by my side, suddenly stepped in front of me with a look of alertness, whispering a warning, "Miss, be careful. Second miss is coming." I looked up to see Lin Ling approaching with several attendants. Uninterested in engaging her, I ordered coolly, "Tao Hua, take a different route. I have no desire to listen to a mad dog barking." My voice was neither loud nor soft, yet clear enough for those nearby to hear. Not far off, Lin Ling stormed toward us, her skirt lifted in fury. "Stop right there. Who did you call a mad dog? Good heavens, sister. Have you been bitten by a mad dog? Look at yourself, not a trace of a lady's composure. Your hair's a mess, and everyone can see your colorful undergarments. What kind of service have you been providing second young miss? What are you standing around for? Hurry and find a doctor to examine second young miss's head." Before she could explain, I turned to Tao Hua, who was stifling a laugh. "Hua, did you remember what I told you to do? Hurry downstairs and order someone to find that mad dog. If it bites someone else, it won't be a small matter. You, Lin Shu, you called me a mad dog and said I'm mentally unstable. I'll fight you." I feigned fear and took a step back, quickly restrained the second young miss. "Hurry and fetch a doctor to examine her properly. Being bitten by a mad dog is no small matter. It could kill someone." Lin Ling was so enraged by my words she stomped her feet. As if suddenly struck by a thought, she burst into laughter. "Lin Shu, gloat all you want. We'll see how long your gloating lasts. You think your mother really went back to see your maternal grandmother? Let me tell you, your maternal family." Her words trailed off mid-sentence as the maid standing beside her cleared her throat softly. Lin Ling suddenly realized what she was doing and clamped her mouth shut. I grabbed her collar, my eyes sharp as I glared at her. "What about my maternal family? Did you hear some rumor? Spit it out." My expression made her instinctively take a few steps back. "Why are you yelling? What did I say?" "I didn't say anything. I'm not telling you. What are you going to do about it?" I released her collar. Before she could react, I touched her neck and whispered in a voice only the two of us could hear, "You say such a beautiful neck. If I accidentally snapped it, would you regret it? Hurry up. Tell me what you know. You just want to marry Suzy Heo, right? In exchange, I can help you fulfill your wish." "Really?" Her eyes lit up, but she quickly grew wary. "You're not tricking me, are you? Father said you'd accompany him to the Su family. He's so set on marrying you off there, he doesn't care about my feelings." "He didn't say that before. How could he change his mind in just a few days?" My sharp senses detected something off. Unaware she'd slipped up, she addressed the others nearby. "No more servants needed here. All of you, step back." Once everyone had left, she pulled me toward the rockery in the back garden. After glancing warily around, she whispered, "I'll trust you this once." Whatever you promised me, you must deliver. I heard troubles brewing at the frontier. Your uncle and the others can barely hold the line. What? I nearly shouted in shock. She clamped her hand over my mouth. Keep your voice down. I only heard the second hand. Now you understand why father is so desperate to curry favor with the Sioux family, right? Anyway, I've told you everything I know. The rest depends on when you'll fulfill your promise. Don't let me down. I steadied my emotions and studied her carefully. She didn't seem to be lying. Suddenly, an idea struck me. Let's keep things separate. I won't go back on my word. But you have to play along with me. Come on, let's go to the Sioux family together. Though reluctant, Lin Ling was dragged along to the Sioux residence. When we both appeared at the Sioux residence, my father's face turned as dark as soot. He held back his anger, distractedly engaging with Sue's father. Su Ziheo, seated nearby, lit up the moment he saw Lin Ling. He pulled her aside without hesitation in front of everyone. Little Ling, you're here. Sit down. What are you lot standing around for? Quickly find her a seat and bring tea. Ziheo, don't be so rude. Sue's mother intervened with a hint of displeasure. Noticing my awkwardness, she hurried over, affectionately took my hand, and said with a loving expression, "Sure, you've lost weight. We've heard about what happened before. It was our Ziheo who was in the wrong. You're the child your uncle and I watched grow up. We both cared deeply for you. Someone, go fetch the things I prepared for Miss Lin." A few days ago, the Golden Pavilion received a new shipment of exquisite goods. I selected some jewelry perfect for young ladies like you. I wonder if you'll like them. I've often told your uncle how I wish you could stay by my side forever. I glanced at Lin Ling beside me. Her eyes were red-rimmed, looking utterly aggrieved. Just as she was about to lose her composure, Su Ziheo spoke up, "Mother, you can't play favorites. Little Ling deserves a share too. Besides, what did I do wrong? She's the one at fault. She hasn't even entered the door yet and already she's putting on airs. You should have seen her, she's nothing but a shrew. She even smashed our family's heirloom jade pendant. I refuse to marry such a woman into our family. She claims to be the epitome of a proper young lady, but I see it all as an act. It's utterly revolting." None of them expected Su Ziheo to say such things. Sue's father, who had remained silent until now, spoke with irritation, "How dare you? Since ancient times, parents' commands and matchmakers' words have been final. What right do you have to speak? Servants, escort the second young master back to his quarters immediately. Post guards to watch him. Without my permission, he is not to leave the courtyard. Disobedience will be punished according to family law." Lin Ling panicked, grabbing my sleeve. "Sister, this." I knew what she wanted to say. Before she came, we had agreed, she mustn't speak out. If she didn't heed my advice, she wouldn't get what she wanted, and she'd have no one to blame but herself. I shook my head at her, then pinched my palm hard. When I looked up again, my expression had transformed into one of heartrending vulnerability. "Uncle, Auntie, you've seen how Zihao treats me. How could I marry him? In my heart, you're like my own parents. Surely you wouldn't stand by and watch me suffer? I'm willing to let him marry my sister." Mrs. Su grew flustered. How could that be possible? Rest assured, as long as we're here, he won't be the one calling the shots in this family. After speaking, she shot a look of disgust at Lin Ling standing nearby. "What if I refuse? Auntie, your family has more than just Ziheo. I think second uncle would be a better match." No sooner had I finished speaking than Mr. Su leapt to his feet, his voice trembling with emotion. "Is that truly how you feel, sure? How terribly unfair to you. To be honest, your aunt and I have been deeply troubled by Mo's situation. Though he holds seniority in our family, he's only a year older than Ziheo. By tradition, he should have been the first to marry. But you know his health, are you truly certain you don't mind?" Sue's mother suddenly grabbed my hand. "Child, please think this through carefully. Don't let stubbornness make you." Hearing this, Sue's father frowned. "What nonsense. My younger brother's condition stems from injuries he sustained saving Ziheo years ago. You can't be so ungrateful. As long as Shurer is willing, it's fine. I think this is a wonderful match, both children are happy. I feigned coyness as I replied, if I truly minded, I wouldn't have spoken these words. Good, good, you're such a good child. Then it's settled. Father Su beamed with joy. He then turned to Lin Ling beside him and said with a smile, Your Excellency is truly blessed to have two such lovely daughters. Since the children are both willing, we elders ought to support them. This must be Linger? Come closer, let me see you. My son Ziheo has spoken of you often, you truly are a delightful child. I'm in such a good mood today, I'll have your aunt prepare dinner right away. Let's gather and celebrate properly. Madame Su looked displeased. But master, she's merely a concubine's daughter. Her status. My father caught the crux of her concern and quickly offered a compromise. That's easily settled. Rest assured, once my wife returns, I'll discuss it with her. We'll formally recognize Linger as her daughter. When she marries into this family, we'll treat her with the same honors as a legitimate daughter. Would that be acceptable? But Su's mother remained unconvinced, but Su's father cut her off abruptly, enough with the buts. We'll discuss this in a few days. Now go prepare dinner. I intend to drink a few cups with the Marquis. Su's mother snorted coldly, leaving in a huff, not forgetting to glare at us before departing. My father wasn't truly refusing, after exchanging a few polite words, we stayed. Out of their sight, I let out a mocking smile. Such is human nature, all this talk of liking or disliking is just a facade for putting interests first. Rumors in the capital claimed second Master Su was an uneducated good-for-nothing. The reason he hadn't married wasn't due to any real health issues, but because every girl previously betrothed to him had met with misfortune, none had lived to see their wedding day. Later, his reputation as a wife-killer grew increasingly monstrous. No girl from a respectable family would dare marry him. Though I knew things would go smoothly, my father and the Su family's attitude still chilled my heart. I made an excuse and led Lin Ling out. After receiving a few compliments, she grew a bit carried away, speaking without regard for the occasion. Sister, you really know how to get things done. This matter is settled then. Mother will be overjoyed when she hears. I never imagined Lady Su would be so easy to get along with. I'd heard before that Before she could finish, she was cut off. Who's this young lady? The habit of gossiping behind people's backs is most unbecoming. I looked up to see a man in rich robes seated in a pavilion nearby, sipping tea. How careless of me. I bowed my head in frustration, preparing to pay my respects, when Lin Ling blurted out, Who do you think you are, minding other people's business? Do you even know who we are? We'll be the mistresses of this house someday. Fearing her words would implicate me, I quickly cut her off. Linger, don't be rude. Apologize to Uncle Su Heir at once. What? He's Uncle Su Heir? Sister, isn't he just a little old man? How could? For the first time, I thought Lin Ling was a complete idiot. I glared at her fiercely. Startled by my intensity, she snapped out of it, immediately bowed her head, and adopted a coy demeanor as she curtsied to Uncle Su. Please forgive me, Uncle. I truly didn't expect you to be so young. So you're the concubine's daughter my nephew fancies? Is he blind? How could he possibly fancy a fool like you? No one expected Uncle Su to speak so venomously in front of the girl, but strangely, I found it rather pleasing. Lin Ling was so enraged she was on the verge of tears. I sighed and stepped forward to defuse the situation. I bowed apologetically to Uncle Su. Uncle, you jest. My sister was indeed in the wrong today. Please be magnanimous and not take offense at a young girl. Once we return, I shall have father discipline her properly. It's getting late, we sisters shall take our leave. What a sharp-tongued girl. No wonder my dim-witted son is no match for you. Didn't you say I was quite good? Don't you plan to come over for a drink, my fiancé? I hadn't expected him to learn of what just happened so quickly. Was he really a useless fool? Lin Ling paid no heed to the earlier incident. She hooked her arm through mine and pulled me forward. Sister, second uncle is calling you. I instinctively tried to refuse, but Lin Ling's grip was too strong. I had no choice but to let her drag me along. Just as we were about to sit down, Uncle Su slammed his teacup down on the table. He looked at Lin Ling with utter contempt. "Didn't you hear me? I only invited my fiancé for tea. If you have any sense of decency, get out of here immediately. I'm not like my dim-witted nephew, I won't fall for your tricks. I only drink black tea, not green tea." All this talk about black tea and green tea left me a bit confused. This man felt nothing like the Uncle Su I remembered. This time, Lin Ling finally couldn't take it anymore. She ran off crying. Just as I stood up to chase after her, Uncle Su spoke again. "Sit down. That annoying girl is finally gone. Are you out of your mind? Why would you ever work with her? Have you forgotten what kind of person she is? That girl clearly isn't trustworthy, and she was pretending in front of me. It was disgusting." I stared at him in surprise, not understanding what he was talking about. Seeing me staring at him, he didn't seem annoyed, frustrating. "I forgot again, you might not understand what I'm saying. But it's fine. Just remember, I won't harm you. I won't beat around the bush. Let's work together." Work together? I picked up the teacup on the table and took a careful sip. It was actually quite good. "Let's be straightforward. I know you hold the power thereafter. Don't deny it just yet. I have zero interest in that thing. I just want to protect myself. Sigh, that brain-dead sister of mine, why did she have to get involved in palace intrigue? With her IQ, does she even deserve it? She wants to court death, dragging our whole family down with her. I just arrived here, I can't go back anytime soon. I don't want to meet my maker this early." He kept droning on and on, regardless of whether I could understand him or not. It wasn't until the very end that I finally caught the crucial point. "Your uncles are in a tight spot now. This has nothing to do with my sister, and yet it does." She couldn't keep things straight and blurted out a few words to that person. Who'd have thought he'd actually take it to heart? Sigh, what a mess. Since I'm being honest with you, just let it go. Saving people comes first. Go down now and find your subordinates to prepare military provisions and some warm clothes. There's still time. Oh, and some medical supplies, never mind, I'm more familiar with those. If you trust me, hand them over. I want to visit the frontier. Could you arrange for your men to protect me? Rest assured, I can truly be of help, I know medicine." The information overload left me momentarily stunned. How could someone uneducated in the arts possess medical skills? How did he know the legendary power had fallen into my hands? The story of that legendary power traces back to long ago. My maternal family practiced martial arts for generations. Especially my maternal grandfather, he was once the renowned protector general of the realm. By my mother's generation, my two uncles had both become promising young generals. To ease the concerns of the ruler, my maternal grandfather relinquished his military authority long ago, resigned his post, and returned to our ancestral home in Jiangnan to live an ordinary life. My uncles, too, voluntarily requested to guard the frontiers, never returning to the capital unless summoned. Even so, there were those who refused to leave them alone. Rumors circulated that my maternal grandfather's family maintained a secret guard, men capable of fighting 100 foes single-handedly, sworn to serve only one master. Many coveted that power. To protect them, my maternal grandfather took my mother and the others into hiding in Jiangnan, seeking distance from the intrigue. But peace was short-lived. Once my mother reached marriageable age, the noble families of the capital grew restless once more. Matchmakers came in waves, one after another. My grandfather knew evasion was futile. Ultimately, he chose my father, then merely an ordinary illegitimate son. They say my mother brings good fortune to her husband. Originally, this marquis title should never have fallen to my father. He was the least capable among his brothers. The exact circumstances remain unknown. All is known is that the year I was born, my grandfather petitioned to transfer the hereditary marquis title to my father. Despite widespread opposition, the decision stood. Gradually, the matter faded from discussion. I learned these truths the day before Mother planned to return to Jiangnan. Only the two of us, mother and daughter, were present. No third party knew of this matter. I stared at Uncle Su-er warily. How can I prove what you say is true? You don't trust me? You're far too suspicious, just like the characters in those books. Didn't I say I'm from another time? Of course I know the plot. Let me think. You've probably already sent people to investigate. By tomorrow at the latest, you should have news about your uncle and the others. Also, stay away from that concubine-born sister of yours. She's no pushover. Mainly, she loves to show off, and her words can really get under your skin. Oh, and I'm curious, what made you decide to marry me? Was it because I'm so handsome? After saying that, he gave me a self-satisfied wink. You guess. With that, I left. I didn't reply directly. The next day, my people brought me the news. Discovering it was exactly as Uncle Su-er had said, I finally resolved to cooperate with him. To facilitate things, I pretended to be ill and left the home mansion, planning to recuperate at the estate. Upon hearing this, Lin Ling arrived at my residence early in the morning. Feigning regret, she said, "Sister, why have you fallen ill again? Rest assured, I'll take good care of father after you leave. And here's some good news, our family is about to grow. The doctor said mother is definitely having a son this time." Truthfully, I had no heart to engage with her, but her demeanor was simply too much to ignore. Suddenly, I felt the urge to tease her. "Oh? From where did you find this doctor with such remarkable skill? He knows it's a son before she's even given birth? Well then, I won't need to rest at the country estate after all. Have him come see me. Perhaps my illness will vanish instantly." "Don't." She gave an awkward smile. "Even Dr. Wang said your illness requires quiet, focused recuperation. The country estate has lovely scenery, perfect for convalescence. If you need anything, don't forget to send word back. I see you've packed everything. Come, let me see you off." Before anything else happened, she was already eager to send me away. I gave her a meaningful look, remembering I still had that other business to attend to, so I didn't tease her further. But I hadn't expected that after I climbed into the carriage, it suddenly stopped. Susie Heo, whom I hadn't seen in days, appeared before me. He spoke angrily, "Lin Shu, even if I did something to wrong you, you don't have to treat me like this. You know exactly what my uncle is like. That you would choose him. You've truly disappointed me." I was starting to lose track of him. Someone unaware might genuinely think I'd done something to betray him. "So what? Your disappointment is none of my concern," I said calmly. "My uncle says he's going to the estate to recuperate, and right after, you announce you're going to the estate to recuperate too. You dare say it wasn't for him? How pathetic can you be?" His words really got me fired up. "Get lost. Next time you see me, remember to call me Auntie. Come on, if he doesn't move, just run him over. If anything happens, I'll take the blame." With my words, Uncle Lu, the driver, really drove the carriage forward recklessly. Susie Heo instinctively leapt aside. "Madmen! A bunch of madmen!" He watched helplessly as we departed. Before leaving, I mimicked Uncle Su-er's earlier gesture and flipped him the bird. Though I didn't grasp its meaning, I sensed it couldn't be anything good. Ever since leaving the home mansion, I'd become utterly consumed by busyness. My men followed my orders, traveling to various locations to procure substantial supplies of grain and fodder. Finally, after half a month, we gathered all the necessary provisions. Just as I was preparing to personally escort these supplies to the frontier, Uncle Su-er, who had been missing for quite some time, came looking for me. He approached me carrying a flask of wine. "I heard you're setting off tomorrow. I've come to see you off. How about we have a drink?" I smiled and nodded at him. "You know, you actually look quite something in that man's attire. But really, why would a delicate young lady like you venture into such a dangerous place? Listen, if you trust me, let me go in your place. I truly know medicine, I'd be far more useful there than you." I grabbed the flask and took a large gulp. "You? Do you know martial arts? Can you protect yourself?" Though we're cautious, there are always schemers who can't stand seeing others succeed. You know what? If not for my grandfather's warning, all those things we painstakingly acquired would have been destroyed long ago. Some of them belonged to my own kin. Ha! They thought they were being discreet, but I knew all along. I was just giving them a chance. I gave a bitter smile. Saying I wasn't hurt would be a lie. Then you should definitely take me along. I may not know martial arts, but I'm skilled in medicine and poison. I can totally protect myself. Seriously, bringing me won't hurt you. I won't slow you down. Plus, I can cook. I make delicious meals. When we get back, I can even help you plot your revenge. What do you say? Sounds tempting, right? So take me along. I've packed everything and am ready to go anytime. He proudly presented a strangely shaped object. Don't underestimate this thing. It's a backpack, custom made for me at great expense. It can hold a lot. I'm giving it to you. I know many useful things. Really, maybe after I go, I can even help your uncle. I was genuinely swayed by his words. After a moment's thought, I nodded in agreement. Awesome. All right then, get some rest. I told you I could convince you, but Peach didn't believe me. She lost. You get some sleep. I'm off to collect my winnings from her. I'm rich. I'm rich. I heard him mutter some more incomprehensible things, but they didn't matter. To avoid suspicion, we split into several groups. After trekking through mountains and rivers for over half a month, we finally reached a small town on the frontier. During this time, I ate many strange things, all arranged by Uncle Suaire. His cooking skills were actually quite good. Even something as simple as roasted wild chicken tasted better than usual when he made it. I must admit, the journey felt pretty good, quite relaxed. But the moment we arrived in the town, my eyelids started twitching uncontrollably. I had a bad feeling, though I couldn't pinpoint why, so I brushed it off. Instead of heading straight to an inn, we sought out the local post station. The people inside welcomed us in with great courtesy. Just as I finished washing up and was about to eat some hot food to recharge, Uncle Sue found me. He quickly shut the door and deliberately spoke loudly, "Lin Air, we're all exhausted. Why don't we rest here tonight? This place feels different from anywhere we've been before. Let's go explore later, huh?" As he spoke, he dipped his middle finger in the tea and wrote on the table, "Danger. This place is unsafe for lingering." My heart pounded so hard I couldn't find the words to respond. He quickly wiped away the tea, then flung the door open. A figure tumbled inside. Ouch! That hurt like hell. I recognized him as the inn's manager. He lay sprawled on the floor, wailing loudly. Uncle Zhang, right? What happened? Should we call a doctor? We were just about to go out for a stroll. Never expected to run into you here. He scrambled to his feet. I just popped by to see if you wanted something to eat first. After all, you're relatives of Lord Liu. I was hoping you'd put in a good word for us with him. Well, looks like I'm fine. Aw, I'm getting old and useless. This fall really knocked the wind out of me. Uncle Sue pulled a silver ingot from his robe and pressed it into Zhang's hand. Uncle Zhang, please go get us something to eat. Just send it to our room. My brother and I need to discuss something. The others can find their own places to eat, no need to worry about us. I was a bit confused, so I decided to stay silent. Zhang cheerfully went downstairs and soon returned with 2 bowls of freshly cooked noodles. Gentlemen, have a bite to tide you over. I've already sent someone to book a restaurant. Tonight, I'll treat you to a proper meal. With that, he thoughtfully closed the door behind him and left. Just as I was about to ask, Uncle Sue launched into his self-directed monologue again. Ah, this tastes really good. Delicious. You should eat too. Once we're full, we'll go out for a stroll. I responded with a few compliant murmurs. When the time seemed right, I saw Uncle Sue collapse onto the table, winking at me. I got the message and quickly mimicked him, falling onto the table too. Soon, the door creaked open. Even with my eyes closed, I could sense someone entering. Boss, they're really out cold. That stuff you mixed up actually works. I don't know what they parked in the backyard, but they sure look like rich folks. Do you think we'll get in trouble for this? I can't help but feel a little scared. Will we really be okay? What the hell are you scared of? We've been in this business for years. Who even remembers us? Didn't that guy say it? As long as we stop these guys from getting into the city, they'll pay us a fortune. Whether we can live out our days in peace depends on this one job. Hurry up and tie them up. At that moment, Uncle Sue, who had been keeping his eyes closed, suddenly snapped them open. No one knew where he'd pulled a packet of powder from, but he scattered it all over them. Soon, none of them could move. You were all faking it. You never ate that bowl of noodles at all. Help! Someone, help! Uncle Sue pulled a knife from his robe and toyed with it. Talk. Who sent you? If you don't tell me, I won't give you the antidote. You'll rot to death in a few hours. Spare us, sir. We have families to support. We had no choice. Just days ago, some men came. They showed us portraits, saying we only needed to prevent these people from entering the city. We truly didn't know who they were. We never intended to kill anyone. Having made up my mind, I sighed. No need to ask. I know who it is. Let's go. This place is no longer safe. The sooner the better. I whistled, and the people who had vanished earlier quickly reappeared. After gathering our men, we set off again. I kept sensing someone following us, neither too close nor too far behind. It wasn't until we left the town entrance that they finally couldn't hold back. Soon, we were surrounded by a group of masked men. We just want your money. If you know what's good for you, leave your stuff and you can go. I snorted coldly. What if I refuse? Cut the crap. Get on with it. This time, my earlier suspicions were confirmed. My men immediately engaged them in combat. Uncle Sue, standing beside me, swiftly shielded me with his body. Don't worry. I'll protect you. I looked at him with a touch of amusement. He really did think I was some helpless woman. Little did they know, since I was 3, my mother had found me a master to teach me martial arts for self-defense. Few people knew about this, not even my father, who never paid much attention to me. This wasn't my first encounter with such a situation. For me, it was easily handled. I pushed Uncle Sue aside and charged forward, engaging the black-clad men in combat. After dispatching one of them without breaking a sweat, I heard Uncle Sue gasp, "Holy crap, you're brave." Wait, this isn't in the book. Soon, my men had the situation under control. I stood on the leader's chest. Talk. Are you working for my father, or someone else? You'd better tell me the truth, or else. Miss, spare my life. I was just following orders. It was Lady Yu. She made us do this. I chuckled. You're loyal to the end, aren't you? Still not telling the truth. Fine. Uncle Sue, where's that medicine you mentioned earlier, the one that makes people rot and die? Give him a few pills. Let him think carefully about whether he wants to tell the truth. Uncle Sue cooperated readily. Sure thing. I've got some poison here that can make someone mute for life. That's not brutal enough, better skip it. Oh, and this bottle here? Just a tiny bit turns someone into a pool of blood instantly. Want to try it? And this one? I'll tell you. Before he could finish, the man on the ground couldn't take it anymore and spilled everything. Miss, it was your second uncle, Second Master Lin, who sent us. He said we had to keep you alive, just prevent you from entering the city safely. We truly never intended to kill you. Please spare our lives, miss. I'd considered many possibilities, but never imagined it would be my simple-looking second uncle. Long ago, his family had moved away. In recent years, our families rarely gathered except during major holidays. But why had he implicated concubine Yu earlier? I couldn't help but retort, then why did you claim concubine Yu ordered you to do this? Which part of your story is true, and which is false? I truly haven't lied. Second Master made me say those things. I suspect he wanted to frame your father. After all, Lady Yu is your father's favored concubine now. If it came to an investigation, your father couldn't escape blame either. Miss, I'm telling the truth. I genuinely don't know the specifics. I didn't press further, signaling for the men beside me to drag the surviving captives aside. What's the plan now? Uncle Su Air approached me, his face etched with worry. I never imagined this operation would draw so much attention. I sighed. What can we do? As long as we deliver the supplies safely, it's all worth it. We'll deal with the rest of the trouble once we're back. We didn't linger long and pressed onward. Finally, before nightfall, we reached the city outskirts. But just as I thought I saw hope, disaster struck. Unexpectedly, enemy forces launched a surprise attack, forcing our men into combat. Fortunately, I'd already ordered the supplies delivered into the city ahead of time. I don't know how long I held on. Just as I felt utterly exhausted, I faintly heard a familiar voice, "Watch out." Too late. Before I could react, a blade pierced me. Ouch, that hurt. As I collapsed, I saw Second Master Su rushing toward me. I have no idea how long I lay unconscious. When I opened my eyes again, Second Master Su was dozing nearby. Later, I learned I'd been unconscious for 4 days and nights. They say he saved me. Fortunately, the supplies we'd prepared earlier began arriving steadily. With those provisions, my uncle's men were even more motivated. In the days that followed, the enemy dared not make any rash moves. During my half-month recuperation there, my uncle and his men finally received reinforcements. Soon after, the enemy sent envoys to sue for peace, offering substantial reparations. The crisis was finally averted. Once the situation stabilized, I quietly set off for the capital. On the day of my departure, my uncle gazed at me with obvious reluctance. He said little, instead repeatedly instructing Second Master Su to look after me, even threatening him in a way that was somewhat amusing. Before long, we returned to the capital. After staying at the estate for several days, I returned to the Marquis's residence. Upon hearing the news, Lin Ling fluttered over dressed like a butterfly, eager to show off. "Sister, look at your complexion, why is it still so poor? Haven't you recovered yet? Oh, and look at this dress. Isn't it lovely? Brother Zihao gave it to me, and this hairpin too, also from him." Seeing I ignored her, she didn't get upset but kept going. "Sister, you see? We won in the end. Now the household's reins are firmly in Mother's hands." "Your mother? She doesn't even dare come back. If you'd come to your senses sooner and let me have Brother Zihao, you wouldn't have suffered so much. You're just like your mother, utterly useless." Ha ha. Her laughter rang with wild arrogance, while I watched her with pity. "So eager to snatch men and serve them? Fine, I'll grant your wish. Soon you and your mother will have more men than you can ever serve." My indifference bored her, and she soon left. Days later, another major incident struck our household. While dining with friends outside, Father happened upon concubine Yu meeting her lover in secret. Unfortunately, he couldn't identify the man, only overhearing their conversation. Enraged, Father struck concubine Yu, who was months away from giving birth, causing her to miscarry. When I received this news, I was pruning flower branches in the courtyard. Lin Ling was terrified. She cried out to me for help. "Sister, please save my mother. She's truly near death. After all, the child in her womb is our family too." I laughed. "Do you think I can interfere with this? If I recall correctly, Father said no one should meddle in her life or death. Besides, how can you be so certain it's Father's child? Let me point you in the right direction. Go see Second Uncle. He might help you." "Second Uncle? You mean Lin Shu? I'll fight you to the death. How dare you slander my mother? She's not that kind of person at all." This time, before she could get close, I ordered my servants to throw her out. Later I heard she had no choice but to storm over to Second Uncle's place and cause a huge scene. By the time they arrived, concubine Yu was barely clinging to life. But luckily, she survived. The child was born prematurely, neglected, and died shortly after. When Father learned she was still alive, he didn't let her off. He ordered her sold straight to the Yihong courtyard. Upon learning this, Lin Ling completely lost her mind. She blocked my father's path and erupted into a furious argument with him, drawing a crowd of onlookers. In the end, my father, driven by his pride and anger, had her thrown into a home courtyard as well. The Su family, ashamed by the scandal, sent envoys to dissolve the betrothal. This outcome surprised me not at all, for I had orchestrated every step of it. Long before leaving the capital, I had thoroughly investigated concubine Yu's past. Lin Ling was indeed my father's child. But the child concubine Yu carried was another man's. And that man was not my second uncle. Yet she betrayed information, colluding with my second uncle to plot against me and my mother. I had to settle the score with her. My deliberate misdirection was meant to ensure my second uncle's household found no peace either. Though he had shown me mercy before, his selfishness nearly cost the lives of countless border soldiers. While I couldn't bring myself to exterminate him completely, I needed him to taste some suffering. Months later, I was married off. I became the only one to live long enough to marry Uncle Su. And thus, his reputation for being a wife killer was finally erased. The day before my wedding, my mother accompanied my maternal grandfather's family back to the capital. Though my father resisted, 5 days after my return visit, my mother obtained the divorce papers. After the wedding, I followed second Uncle Su out of the capital. He took me across the land, north and south. I had the fortune to taste all manner of delicacies, and my body grew stronger. We ultimately settled in a frontier town to start a small business. I provided the capital, he contributed the labor. His words resonated deeply with me. To truly protect one's family, one needed not only power but also wealth. Beyond my maternal family, I felt I had no one left. This time, I chose without hesitation to continue partnering with him. I knew this partnership would likely last a lifetime. The end.